I've wanted to do a tier list for a while now, and I thought I would set aside the time today to take you through my own personal ranking of Jordans 1 through 14. I'm going to do two lists. One from the perspective of like a young person, maybe like a teenager who's hot on TikTok that has a particular perspective on Jordans 1 through 14. And then I want to give my own personal opinion, which hasn't really changed since 1998 when I got my second pair of Jordans. So let's get into it. Okay, so first up on the list, we have the Jordan 1. Now, the Jordan 1 is goated. No cap on God. These are absolutely bussin'. They look good with everything. So many dope colorways and amazing collabs. The Jordan 1 is goated. There's no question about it. The Jordan 2 is mid. You know, it seems like there's been an agenda from Nike. They've been like collaborating or conspiring with the global elites and 5G to try to brainwash the masses into liking the Jordan 2. That's why they gave the Jordan 2 to every single collaborator out there to try to make them cool and popular. But we're on to you, Nike. We see right through that bullshit. And even though there's been 1,000 collabs, the Jordan 2 is still mid. Jordan 3s are valid, no cap. There are some nice colorways of the Jordan 3, and there's been some dope collabs, especially with the Amamanier. So Jordan 3s are valid. The Jordan 4 is goated. There's no debate. There's no room to even try to argue the matter. They are goated. They're one of the best sneakers ever made, and I just want every pair in every colorway. The Jordan 5 is kind of meh to me. It's meh. It's nearly mid, but it's not quite mid, so it's meh. There's something about the Jordan 5 that I can't quite put my finger on. I don't know if it's because of the bulky collar. I don't know if it's because the shoe is a bit chunky where it doesn't need to be, but it's not a great shoe. The only valid Jordan 5s are like the Off-White collabs. Otherwise, they're all pretty average and therefore they're meh. Jordan 6s kind of like run foul of the same kind of criteria that the 5s do. There's really only one or two cool Jordan 6s, which both happen to be the Travis Scott collabs. No bias there. They're not quite mid. They're definitely not valid. So Jordan 6s are mid. The only valid Jordan 7 is the Jordan 7 Travis Scott, which hasn't even come out yet, but it's still the best Jordan 7 of all time. They're not quite mid because there are some kind of passable OG colorways like the Bordeaux's. They're okay. The shoe isn't quite mid. It's not quite valid, so next to the 5s and 6s go the 7s. They're mid. The Jordan 8 is just absolute ass. I don't know what Tinker was on when he designed the Jordan 8. It kind of seems like he was smoking rocks at the time, but they're just too bulky. They're too chunky. They're a little bit kind of overweight for me. And so these are undoubtedly an L. The Jordan 9 looks like a baseball cleat. Oh, okay. So the Jordan 9 was based on a baseball cleat. That's why it looks like a baseball cleat. Okay, that makes sense. So these are another L shoe. No one likes the Jordan 9s. If the Jordan 9 never came out, nobody would give a shit. They really aren't that bad. So they're an L. The Jordan 10 is so forgettable. It's really one of the worst Jordans ever. There's nothing really thought-provoking. There's nothing really enticing about the design. They really are shit. So these are... The Jordan 11 is very nearly goated. They're definitely valid. Something about the Jordan 11 just doesn't quite cross over to the streets the same way that the 1s and the 4s do. And so for that reason, they're definitely valid. The Jordan 12s were based on like a woman's boot, and you can really see the design inspiration there. I think if I was kind of into the cross-dressing project and maybe I wanted to bring about a sense of femininity to my feet, this is a sneaker that I would probably wear casually. But otherwise, the Jordan 12 to me is just absolutely mid. The 13 to me looks a little bit like a baby elephant foot. There's something about the 13 that just gives me wildlife vibes. They could potentially also be like a rhinoceros foot. It might not necessarily just be elephant. But either way, these are mid. The 14 is just an L shoe. It doesn't matter to me that MJ had his last shot in these. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if these were one of the reasons why MJ decided to retire low-key. I think when he was presented with the Jordan 14, he was probably like, yeah, this is a good time to call it quits on basketball now. So the 14 are just horrible, and for that reason, they're an L. It's kind of fun doing the voice in the American accent, but I'm back to my normal voice now. So now I'm going to go through my own tier list from a private, personal perspective, and let's see how it compares to the previous list. By the way, let me know if that list was valid, or if as a young person watching this video you would agree with that list, or if it's a little bit off. But here's my list. Okay, so the Jordan 1 to me is meh. It always has been meh. I used to cop Jordan 1s when they would go on sale. They look indistinguishable from a distance to a Nike Dunk or an SB Dunk High. It's the same thing with the Jordan 1 Low. They look similar to Dunk Lows, SB Dunk Lows. So there's nothing that really stands out for me other than how uncomfortable they are. So yeah, Jordan 1's meh. But the Jordan 2 Highs, a little bit moon booty, a little bit chunky, a little bit plain Jane. Definitely a meh shoe. Probably I would agree with the youngins on this one. Jordan 3s to me are goated. They are right at the top of the list. Very, very wearable shoe and comfortable. Goated Jordan for me, easy. I'm going to agree with the youngsters here with the Jordan 4s. I think 4s are goated, one of the best looking Jordans out there. I love everything about the Jordan 4s, always have done, and yeah, no brainer. Next up, the Jordan 5s. Jordan 5s to me are valid. There's some really awesome original colorways, some cool collabs as well, but I love the Fighter Jet inspiration, first shoe with 3M, translucent outsole, all those little bits and pieces. I think the Jordan 5s are valid. Jordan 6s, in my opinion, are also valid. I think they are wicked. Dope shoe, love 6s, valid. 7s, I think 7s are one of the most underrated Jordan models out there. I think they're comfortable. I love the fact that they use the Huarache neoprene booty technology. I think the aesthetic is very clean and very simple. Plus Mike was doing the business in this shoe, particularly 92 Olympics. So 7s, in my opinion, are valid. 8s, I'm not as big a fan of the 8s. I do think they're a little bit chunky and a little bit bulky. There are some cool colorways. I definitely like the aquas or the aquas. I like the playoffs as well. The hairs are pretty. There are some valid colorways, but generally speaking, the 8s are mid. Jordan 9, one of my least favorite Jordans out there. I'm definitely going to put the Jordan 9s as an L. Same with Jordan 10s. I'm not a big fan of Jordan 10s. I will say this for the 10s though, low-key, they are comfortable. Jordan 10s are definitely comfy. But yeah, design-wise, aesthetic-wise, yeah, there's not really much about them I like, so they get an L. 11s for me, I'm biased. It's my favorite sneaker of all time. The Space Jams, Concords, Playoffs, favorite sneakers of all time. 11s are goated. They look great on the court, best looking basketball shoe ever. They make a pretty successful transition over to the streets. Not as good as some others, but 11s, in my opinion, goated. 12s, in my opinion, are valid. I'm going to be biased because the 12s was actually my first pair of Jordans I ever got back in 1997. I love the leather. I like the design. I think one of my favorite features of the Jordan 12 is actually the outsole, which is super cool. But given my own personal bias, which you'll have to allow for me, 12s are valid. 13s to me are also valid. The thing about 13s that's kind of slept on is the fact that they're really comfortable. I love the holographic feature up top. Another really cool Jordan outsole. And I actually think that they look cool on feet. So 13s, in my opinion, they're valid. With 14s, it kind of depends on the colorway. There are some nice colorways of the Jordan 14. I really like, for example, the cherries and the forest greens from 2005. There are some nice Jordan 14 colorways, but the whole seamless vibes or the Ferrari vibes, they kind of lost me a little bit with some of those. So let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments, and thank you as always for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. It was good fun making this, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Make sure to subscribe if you're into sneakers and sneaker related content, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care, have a good one, and peace.